Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below. Good evening everybody and welcome along once again to Apex Online Racing. This is Season 20 of Xbox One F1 and we are at round number 19 at the Circuit of the Americas in the good old Austin, Texas for the United States Grand Prix. The United States Grand Prix has been held in many venues since F1 came to America, such as Watkins Glen, Long Beach, Indy and lots more. Don't remember the 2005 Grand Prix. We don't want to talk about that in this broadcast, will we? Texas has been around long, first held at this very circuit in 2012 when it first being built in 2010. There's a lot of races which were won by Mercedes in the hybrid era. One notable win, however, came from Kimi Raikkonen back in 2018 where he ended his longest streak without a win. Before we get to the qualifying session here today, let's have a look at the track. 5.5 kilometers long with 20 turns, 9 to the left, 11 to the right. 2 DRS zones for overtaking, 1 the start finish straight at the steep hill going towards turn 1, and the 1 of the back straight of turn 11 heading towards turn 12. I am sure we're going to have particularly close attention to sector 2, where we'll probably see a majority of the overtaking and possibly at the start of sector 3 as well. As always, we do have a 50% race which consists of an 18-minute qualifying session to decide the grid with 28 racing laps at a distance of approximately 154 kilometers. And did you not know there are 66 gear changes per lap in the United States? Crazy that. So anyway, are you ready to get going? Because I know I am. So without further ado, let's head on to qualifying. Quite a few people have invalidated their lap times already, which, to be honest, I am not that too surprised about, to be honest, because it is penalty central around here. I thought Russia would be possibly the one that will score the most penalties, but they didn't get too many, whereas United States is going to be crazy. So these guys have got to think on their feet, make sure they hook their laps as early as they possibly can so they can go as high up on the grid as they possibly can as well. So we got lefted, the guy who is on the medium compounder tyres as well. He is sitting top of the standings with 238 points. He won last week in Japan and it was a very good win from him. Second place in the championship is Bobbers. Bobbers did not score a win. Well, he didn't even get into the points last week as well. So the gap was extended by 1 point. So Bobbers was leading last week, the championship, now it's lefted. Third place is Humperdinck with 203 points. Fourth place is VRT Tom with 172 points. Fifth place is Jonah with 163. Sixth is Hawk, 137 points. Seventh place, Scory Raw on 113. Squishy Panda, I forgot to say that, but there we go. But anyway, 8th place is Daegu with 89 points. 9th place is LGS with 80 points. And 10th place is Alfio with 62 points. We've got Jambakes in the 11th with 61. 12th is Oaksted with 24 points, and I think that's how you pronounce it. I finally remember how to pronounce it now. 13th is Jamie with 21 points. 14th is GC with 13 points. 15th place is John with 10. 16th is Ruben with 8. 17th is Zora, which is Boris Letterbox. I thought it was a new driver, but it wasn't. Last place is Cesala. And we got 17 drivers on the grid today, which I have to say is pretty good going. So well done to all the drivers for keeping their wits about them, as it were. So, Jonah is on an outlap right now. We were probably going to follow him, but there's quite a lot of people on lap. So Alex Daegu had set the benchmark so far with a 130.628. Quite a lot of interesting facts about Kota as well. And this was another track designed by Herman Tyke. I think there was another one that was designed by him, which was, I believe, Malaysia, but I'm not entirely sure. And it's only playing host and classic races, and we do know that it could go absolutely insane. It could go down to the wire. We're already on the 129s already, which is impressive. So we're going to go on board with this Alfa Romeo driver to see how we do this. And Alfa Romeo drivers tend to do quite well around here. This was where Kimi Räikkönen won as well, which is interesting to see as well. So here we go then. We are about to start a hot lap with Jonah here today. And let's take you through it. So start for this straight then. You open up the DRS. It's one of the more spectacular looking corners to look at, turn one. But it's an uphill left-hander, which is a relatively simple round one to do. You'll be arriving at 109 miles per hour. You're going to be heading towards turn 3. It kind of reminds me of Silverstone, Magus and Beckett's Chapel. Really difficult complex to get through. You can take turn 4 flat, but will make the rear end snake to around 5. At best, you'll wear your rear tyres out. You need to trail brake down to 6th into turn 6, and you can take a surprising amount of inside curb for turn 7, and then powering up into turn 8, and we're now approaching turn 10 and 11 pretty soon as well. Another king which is flat out, and unfortunately, as it happened in Apex Online Racing, this person has invalidated. Jonah has invalidated his lap time, so the curse there, unfortunately, continues. He's got a lot of work to do, but we shall see. Amazing back this week, which is great to see. And this was the round last season where he definitely put on a good show. He was on the medium compound tyres, I believe, for quite a long time. And I think it was me and Dicer that was in the commentary box for that race. And we were like, when is this driver going to go onto the softs or the hards or whatever? He was just there for a very long time, but he was just still doing battle after battle after battle, and you never knew what was going to happen. So I think we could expect to see the same thing tonight. But he hasn't set a lap yet, so he's got a lot of work to do. Jonah, the other Alfa Romeo, let's see how he can fare better around Kota as well. Our sector 1, probably one of the most technical parts of the circuit, turn 1. A 24/7, I believe, was his sector 1. And usually sector 1 is the one I fail at the most because of the S's. And it's important you do take a lot of power, but don't go too full throttle, because that's otherwise where you're going to probably bin it. Now heading towards the DRS straight where we left off with Alfio. He took the shortest run to the line as possible in order to gain maximum speed there. Turn 12, the main overtaking point in the circuit. He'll be arriving to the braking zone, 205 miles per hour, completely avoid the exit curbing and swing the car back to the left for turn 13. Turn 15 and 16, another pair of corners you have to treat as one turn. No brake marker here when topping out 5th gear, and slow a little bit. Go down up to 7th gear and then go down to around about 4th gear or 5th gear here. We're heading towards the final couple of corners. Another tricky one, partially because they had no brake mark boards there. And Jonah comes across the line with P5, 130.2. Only 9 drivers have set their lap times at the moment. And these guys will be on higher fuel loads. So it won't be the fastest that these drivers will be going on to. And I find when I race around here that the rears definitely get you in the S's. If you brake too hard or if you look up, then you're going to be in absolute trouble. It kind of reminds me of the S section in Japan as well, where we saw quite a few lockups last week. And it costed quite a few people's race results. But again, we will have to find out as the race goes on, as Sam goes into the pit lane. He goes. Tom actually finishes that with a P3. I believe he's on another faster lap at the moment, and I wonder how much you can do. Now, as a driver, you only have, for balanced at least, because I know that's what a majority of the drivers are going to be going for. For balance, they are only having 3 sets of softs to use for qualifying. So they don't have a lot at all. So they only have time for 3 runs. So maybe they may do 2 runs on the softs, on one set of softs, and then the others, they will go on to just 1 lap on the softs. Because you can't do 4 around this track, because it's obviously a 1:29. It's not one of the longest tracks on the calendar in terms of lap time. Baku and Belgium being a few of them. And that means you have to go out insanely quickly in order to do that. So, again, we will have to find out as the session progresses. But anyway, Tom goes towards the final part of Sector 3 now. Running out of fuel, and he invalidates, and he goes into the pit. Unfortunately, George invalidates his lap time. They need to get a move on, because I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people have invalidated their lap times who have not set a lap time yet. And then there's 1 driver who has retired. And this might surely suggest something. Maybe they don't have enough tyres to go into the race with. Or maybe because they probably bin it. But again, we will have to wait and see. So, 7 minutes left to go on the clock. Quite a few people in the pits right now. Apart from this guy, Roberts. He's got a point to prove after last week. Again, only not scoring any points. But his main rivals did. Humperdinck scored points. Tom scored points. Jonah scored points. Jonah actually got a P3 last week. And Lefted actually scored the win. So I know Roberts really wants to win today. He could see it in his, well, he could see it in his mind that I think he doesn't want to finish any lower than a win, to be honest. His lap's looking pretty good so far as he heads towards the final corner. And it is going to be a 128.9, which puts him on pole position. Now, the annoying thing is, it doesn't show that right at the bottom, so I have to keep an eye on the top. And that's good because I can keep an eye on the deltas as well. The only person in the 131s is Jamie. 2.3 seconds off the pace, but again, he's just getting a feel for the track. Squishy Panda then, another driver on a lap. She's been getting some really good results this season. Majority of the races have been in the points. I think there was only 1 race where she was not in the points. The races she took part in, and that was in Singapore where she finished P13. And then in Spain, she actually got disconnected. But apart from that, she's been in the points. And as George Russell would like to say, consistency is key around this track. And I have got to say, she's been doing very well in the tops here. And obviously these drivers got a point to prove. Just coming towards after the DRS straight. And you're about to end. Well, the end of Sector 3 is after turn 13 and 14, where you really class as one turn, just like turn 15 and 16. That's where it all starts, where the majority of the overtaking happens in Sector 3. Sector 1, not as much, because sometimes you can get blinded going into turn 1. I usually find that because I was racing in an open lobby in USA Today, and it was absolute nightmare just to get past into turn 1. But anyway, Squishy Panda, 5th place for her. 1 second off the pace, but I know she can find a little bit more time. And just to let you know, the fastest lap record in the race was set by Charles Leclerc in 2019 with a 1:36.169. And Sam comes across the line in P2, his teammate, who is, I believe, filling in for Hawk, I believe, as far as I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, though. I'll need to double check that, if he's actually meant to be here. I think he is. He might have not showed up to a few races, and he probably decided, you know what, I want to come back, I want to race. Because there's not many leagues on Xbox that run on Sunday nights, and the majority of these guys are here for a bit of fun, to race for a bit of fun, as Bobbert is fastest still at the moment. Amaze currently in the top 10, which is great to see. Not insanely close between the top 10 right now, but just wait until we get until the final few minutes to go until we reach that ballpark, as it were. And I'm also going to actually have a look to see who has won. It's mainly been Lewis Hamilton that's won the United States Grand Prix. Obviously, Kimi Raikkonen's won here as well, 2018. A few times Lewis Hamilton actually won the world title. It was actually in 2019 where Lewis won his 6th world title around this circuit. Even though Valtteri Bottas won the last one. So 2 Finnish drivers in a row won here. So I wonder if one of those drivers can win next season, which is this season. Valtteri Bottas probably been the most likely candidate. And Lewis Hamilton was actually the last driver to win in the United States Grand Prix before it took a little bit of a break in 2007. So interesting facts there. So Jam Pancake then goes into the pit after he invalidated his lap. But I think he's probably for the best right now, as Cesaro heads towards turn number 1. And he also invalidated. I always tend to follow people when I invalidate. It was when I was commentating around Russia on Thursday, I think it was. It always says when we follow someone, they just end up messing things up. And we got really, really frustrated. So I have a feeling this could turn into something similar here today. But only one way to find out, and that is to watch the rest of the broadcast with 2 minutes to go. It is heading towards the calm before the storm here, and we are super pumped about what's going to happen. And Maze is also invalidated. I just need to follow someone else, don't I? I really do. And Tom needs to get out on a lap pretty quickly. I think Tom's going to hope that his crew is really fast, because an out lap around here is definitely longer than 1 minute 28. I would say add an extra 20 to 30 seconds around that. So his lap, I think we'll probably have to do, because I know Tom could be quicker, which is a shame if he does not get out for another lap. As we see the pits getting busy now, as all the cars go out on their final runs. And Humperdinck is one of them. And I have to say, it's going to take some miracle for some of these drivers to get one-time lap perfectly if they leave it this late. But you never know, they could prove me wrong. And I know the drivers will probably prove me wrong, just like they did on Thursday when I was commentating for another league, which I'm not going to say here. And yeah, I'm guessing Tom couldn't go any quicker, or he didn't have enough time, so he is retired. And just goes to show you need to watch out for the timings here. And if you just get it a little bit too late, then you're in trouble. And Cesaro is going to be one of those other drivers that's going to be exactly on the same boat too. So Cesaro will be starting no higher than P8 as he retires. And I gotta say, I like Squishy Panda's helmet choice, but I'm not liking that she has invalidated again. So she won't start any higher than P6. So we're going to watch the drivers head towards the final few corners. Jonah is about to start his final lap, so is Alfio as well. Luckily, he's going to have time to get one more lap because he invalidated one of them. So the first person to start set to 3 is Amazed. Just going past turn 15 and 16 now. And he's got some clear air as well, so he's not going to get as much slipstream as he would have liked. So could Amazed get into the top 5 potentially, or will he stay in the top 10? Only one way to find out. Goes P5, an impressive lap for him. Alex Dagu unfortunately retires from the session. He binned it going towards penultimate few corners. Unfortunately, Humperdinck has invalidated, so we move on to our next driver, which is Bobberts. Bobberts has got a train behind him as well, so it's going to be hard for some of those drivers to get a lap in. And also, Bobberts invalidates too. What about the other Haas driver of GC? I'm just trying to find out who's going to finish a lap first. Maybe Jam Pancakes, potentially. We're just waiting for the last couple of cars. Soro comes across the line now. Can he get higher than P11? We'll see. 10th position for him. Got the Williams and the Hasses come across the line. Sam P2, Roberts P1. Lefted comes across the line in P3. So all that just leaves is the Alfa Romeo driver and Jam Pancakes to get a lap in. Jam Pancakes P4. And that's it. And that was quite a quick qualifying session. And just to answer your question in the chat, this is not the Assist League. This is the No Assist League. So, without further ado, let's get in for racing. Bobbert is on pole by only 4/100ths of a second. That is so close between himself and Sam. We will expect to see, I think, definitely a 2-horse fight between those two. And maybe Lefted as well in third. Jam Pancakes fourth. Tom in fifth. Amazed in sixth position. Jonah in seventh. Humperdinck in eighth. Squishy Panda ninth. GC in 10th. Then we've got Alfio, Sora, Cesala, Alex Daegu, Jamie and LGS setting the final lap times. And Oxted in 17th position did not set a lap time. He unfortunately retired later on in the session. Early on in the session, I mean. And no rain is in sight for the drivers tonight. Completely dry by the looks of things, unless the game likes to throw a spanner in the works, which sometimes it does. Like, I was commentating on a USA race towards the end of last year. It was like this. It was nice and sunny, no cloud, and then it got darker and darker as the race went on, and it was starting to rain, and I don't think it was enough to go onto the intermediate tyres. That was the thing. It was not enough. So they had to soldier on the soft tyres, and if I was them, I would be super, annoyed about it, because you've got to be on your feet a little bit more. So who knows? The weather could surprise us. And don't forget, you do not score points in qualifying. You score points in the race. And we've got the drivers who are just about to ready up now. They're getting their final pieces of strategy underway. And it looks like it's either going to be softer hards or softer mediums today. Probably most people will go for the softer medium option. But at least they have something to fall back on if the first strategy does not go their way and if the softs start to die out a little bit, which sometimes happens. It happened to me. But the game is suggesting a two-stop, but sometimes you don't have to follow completely what Jeff says. So we're going to take it with a pinch of salt, ladies and gentlemen. So looking at our tyre strategy, so obviously the top 10, they will have to start the tyres that they set their fastest lap on, which is the soft tyres. And then we have the following people, so let's go on board with these people right now. So we got Sam in 17th. That's weird, because I thought he started second, but there we go. That is weird. So that's probably the game, maybe desyncing potentially, but we will have to find anyway. So we got Sam in 17th on the mediums, Cesala on the mediums as well, Octez on the mediums, LGS on the mediums, Jamie on the softs, Alex Daegu on the mediums, and Sora on the mediums. So only one person outside the top 10 is on the softs, and that's Jamie. Quite a bold strategy if you ask me, because it is the king of dirty air, but Jamie probably thinks that he is quite fast on those softs, can probably get past a lot of these drivers, maybe a lot of these drivers inside the top 10 as well. So, who is your money on to win this race? I've got to say, Bobbers is hungry for it. Bobbers wants this win. He is super chuffed about what he's going to do, and he just wants to shine. And obviously he missed out on the win last week. He got very, very unlucky with his strategy as well. But I have a feeling for him, tonight is going to be the night. And I probably jinxed him now, which is a bit unfortunate. So, Bobbers, if you are watching this and you think that I've jinxed it, then I do apologise. But anyway, all 17 cars are about to line up, ready to start the United States Grand Prix. So much anticipation for everybody. Could people climb their way up? Could we see some surprises here today? Only one way to find out, as the engines are revving. Hopefully they're revving anyway. Come on. There we go. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights here at COTA. And we are underway, and it's a good start from Bobbers, good start from Lefty. They made their way towards turn 1. Jam Pancakes trying to make front mover up the inside of Lefty. Lefty actually got a much better start than Bobbers. Bobbers is actually dropping all the way down the field, which is a bit of a shame. So it's Lefty that leads, Jam Pancakes in second, Bobbers in third, Tom in fourth position, Jonah in fifth, Squishy Panda in sixth. And we got a lot of cars going off the circuit in the midfield at the moment. Octez has dropped down into P15 as he tries to make his way up through the grid as well. And it's very, very tense. Sam has made up a few positions as well. But meanwhile, the Haas car trying to make some good ground as well. There's still a lot of side-by-side action. The AlphaTauri of Amazed is definitely making up huge ground. He was the one who's used to the alternate strategy, but since he qualified high, he has to start on the softs. Going side by side, in and two. Just past the DRS straight onto the left-hand side. Has to force to conceive. And we have got the Williams, the Squishy Panda. She is definitely fighting back. Heading towards 15 and 16 now. They're really going for it. And I have to say, Squishy Panda could be on course for some really good points if she can keep this up. Humperdinck, though, is really on it with his tyres. You can see Amazed is struggling just a little bit, maybe pushing too much. Lock up. Lefted has unfortunately led the session, so I don't know what's happened to him. And DRS is not enabled, so we are going to ignore the game for that front. So unfortunately you're not going to be able to see what has happened for some of the drivers. But Left has already dropped all the way down into 8 due to his disconnect. I think it was a disconnect, and if I end up trying to add people, I end up disconnecting from the session myself and my Xbox starts to die. So hopefully someone else can invite instead. But that means Jonah, I think, is going to get past. There's quite a lot of cars is going to get past as well, but that means Jam Pancake is your race leader. He's got past Bobbers. Quite a lot of action we missed due to the fact that there was a lot of action happening around the midfield today. And luckily Lefted has joined. And I think he's probably a little bit sorry for himself now, but the motto in life is never give up. Always focus on the task ahead, because there could be some people that have much worse races in front of you, and you could be back on it. But meanwhile, the other AlphaTauri driver of Amazed goes round the left-hand side of Humperdinck. Looks like it was a pretty easy move there for the AlphaTauri driver of Amazed. And he is going to possibly challenge Degu for 8. He's going to possibly come his way down the field already. I think the Lefty has joined back in the session, and he's trying to fight heading towards turn 1. Clips that left apex as he goes round into turn 2 and into turn 3. You can see GC and Squishy Panda definitely wants to move so badly, and Lefty wants to fight back after his disappointment. And he keeps that position, and he is already pulling away from the rest of the midfield battle. So at the moment, Lefty is best of the rest, even though he is the championship leader currently at this stage. And we got a few time penalties already, with Humperdinck getting one, Tizala getting one as well. And we got a few battles, actually. Here we go. Squishy Panda with a fantastic move around the inside of GC there. GC's going to try and get the cut back. He's looking quite impressive. Does the Haas driver. And now, would he be able to respond to what Squishy Panda couldn't in the turn 15 and 16? We did have a yellow flag, unfortunately, which I was not sure what the yellow flag was. And I think it possibly popped in for a short moment. And the yellow flag probably is missed. Maybe it might be Tizala, but he was, I think, a little bit further down anyway, but only one way to find out. And I have to say, GC and Squishy Panda are giving us a ding-dong battle of the century. But the one that's going to be gaining is the likes of Squishy Panda. She's got more ERS to use, and her tyres look in the best condition. So that is why she's potentially going to go for moves more than GC. GC would have to defend for his life. As we head towards the corner where it's going to be hard to get your braking point absolutely right. Just past turn 11. And heading towards turn 12. Squishy Panda then to the left-hand side. Is he going to take the shortest run? He goes to the outside. And will Alex Zager go around the outside of him, potentially to turn 14? He doesn't, but he love taps by the sounds of it, of Squishy Panda. And I would imagine Alex Zager would try and potentially get the cut back here. But possibly because maybe he didn't have enough power. He didn't want to go for the move, and he doesn't want to take as much risk as possible. And we got Heiko in the chat as well. Nice to see you. He thinks that Jam Pancakes is going to win this race. Jam Pancakes was very close to winning last week. Very close. I believe he got P4, but due to penalty, he got P2 on track, or he might have got the win on track actually, but due to penalty he dropped down to P4. His last win for a while was in Brazil season 15 when he won the driver's title. And unfortunately he's not going to win the driver's title this season. He's going to hand it to a different person, but you know, he doesn't care about that. He said to me he likes having fun around here. But I know Bobbert has got the DRS. I think Jam Pancakes is probably going to be the sitting duck in this situation. Bobbert makes an easy move for P1 up into turn 12. But I know Jam Pancakes is going to go full guns a-blazing and possibly wants to go for this end. Because he knows that all the drivers have got to be patient. Sometimes, if you go for moves too early, your tyres start to die, and maybe it may hinder your performances in the pit stops. Potentially too. And we're going to see then how this battle unfolds. And with these two battling, we got Tom, Jonah, and Lefty also back in this as well. I personally thought, to be honest, more drivers would be on time penalties. But only 3 drivers are, so it just goes to show, you can tell how much practice people have put into this league. And to be honest, for me, when I do league races, I just practice for about 2 hours before the race and then turn up. But for these guys, they practice for days before, hours per day pretty much, because they really want to win this. And they're so competitive. Some of these guys want to get into F1 esports in the future. Quite a few drivers in this lobby are in the challenges, so you know, they are the faces of that. And there'll be lots of esports teams looking at leagues like this, the pinnacle of league racing, and seeing, right, is this person performing under pressure? If so, why are they doing that? If not, how could they make it better? Because They don't want someone that's going to mess up and cause lots of accidents, because that is where constructors' money in the F1 esports world just goes down the window, because obviously the higher you are in the constructors in F1 esports, the more money you get. So that is the nature of the beast, and it is starting to get quieter at the moment, except for all the likes of Jonah and Lefted. Jonah's going to probably be on an attacking spree on Tom, and Lefted is going to be on an attacking spree to Jonah right now. Alfio getting a 3-second time penalty, so we're starting to see more penalties. So that was another jinx there from good old Jess Games 95. That is my main username. Well, on Xbox is Jess Gamer 95, same as my PSN as well, because I also did quite a few PS4 broadcasts. GC picked up another one as well. And I don't think Jam Pancakes has the pace to get past. I think Robert is probably more consistent on his lap times per lap. And even though I think Jam Pancakes is only losing about a few tenths per lap, it's definitely very, very costly. And like I said, Jam Pancakes has got a lot of work to do. Meanwhile, Lefted and Jonah going side by side. Jonah goes easily past there, but what about turn 13, 14, 15 and 16? This is where the real battle starts to unfold. A lot of skin marks from the drivers. You can see where the drivers are really planting their cars. And we're on lap 7 now, the first third of the race. Pretty much done. Well, once we head to lap 8, the first third of the race would be done. And we'll be halfway very, very soon. We'll probably either more than a third or less than a third, but scrap me if I have done a little bit of maths wrong. But, you know, it happens. That is why I got only a C in Maths GCSE and not a B. That was actually predicted back in 2011. Almost 10 years ago now, which I have to say is absolutely insane. So, the driver to keep an eye on throughout this Grand Prix at the moment is Daegu. Don't forget, he was a driver that started outside the top 10. So he's climbed the most positions out of everybody. Let's have a look then. So Daegu's gained 5. Yes, he has gained the most. One of the most inside the top 10, obviously. Sam, currently in P10 at the moment, he has gained 7 too. And I think a lot of these drivers do not want to be involved in incidents, because unfortunately it does get sent to the stewards. And you do not want to be sent to the stewards, because it may cost you a few World Championship points. It could make a difference into gaining a position or losing a position. DRS trains definitely starting to form here as we speak, and that's making me just a little bit more excited as well. Jam Pancakes 6 attempts now. I think Jam Pancakes is gonna hope that Bobbert spins it or gets a time penalty or even gets held up in the pit lane, and I think Jam Pancakes is going to be in thinking of the exact same thing, but Bobbert's, from McLaren's perspective, is earlier in the pit box than Jam Pancakes. He's more likely to get held up than him. Tom is probably right in the middle of McLaren and AlphaTauri, so I think watch out for Tom too, and Lefted, pretty much everybody that's in the top 5. And we're on lap 9 of 28. 2 seconds separating between Tom and Jam Pancake, so I don't think the top 2 are going to change anytime soon. It looks, well, to be honest, The top two are pretty much running away with it, which is amazing. Not good for us as spectators, because obviously we like to see action everywhere we go in Apex Online Racing. Meanwhile, Jam Pancakes then, he dives it into the pits. Nice and early he goes. And he comes on for a set of mediums. What you would expect if you're pitting now. Lap 10 would be the start of that for the undercut. And we've got Jonah, Squishy Panda, and GC doing exactly the same thing. No damage from either of those drivers, so really, it's for these drivers to definitely get on it. So there they come out now. So Jam Pancakes comes out in a respectable P8, but the most important thing is he's got cleaner air for now. But he also is probably got something to worry about if you're the likes of Oxted and Amazed, because they've been in the battle for majority of this as well. Don't forget, Amazed will still have to pit. Oxted is on the soft, so he will have to pit as well, I think. No, he's on the mediums. Amazed is on the soft. So scrap that. So Amazed makes it look easy once again. Actually, no, it was Octets that made it easy once again on Amazed. And up into P6. And Bobbit has got to pit now. If he doesn't, then he's probably going to kiss the victory goodbye. And I'm not even kidding. Lefted is going to do exactly the same thing. And so, no, Tom's staying out. So, is Tom going for the overcut strategy? That's what it's looking like for him at the moment. So, where's Jam Pancakes? That is a crucial factor. Is Jam Pancakes going to be ahead of Bobbits? Oh, it's very close. They head towards turn 1. We got Jam Pancakes on the right, Bobbits on the left. And there is a safety car, unfortunately, due to Humperdink's retirement. And that is good timing if you're the likes of Tom, because the ones from, I would say, first down to fourth get a free pit stop. Will the ones on the medium stay on the medium, or will they go on to hards? It's a very tough decision. Obviously, Tom will find it easy. He would pit, obviously. The ones who are already on the mediums, they can't go on another set of mediums if they have not pitted already. So they would have to go on a different choice of tyre. There's no question about it. And obviously, it's too early to go on to the soft tyres. And I'm going to be just taking a little bit of a drink whilst this safety car is happening, just so I could rest my voice just a little bit up until the green flag. As Tom comes in, he's probably pretty delighted with that. He was praying to the safety car gods, and I have to say, I was predicting a safety car. LGS has left the session. Hopefully he could join back, but obviously the drivers are in a safety car phase. Of course you would probably invite them back potentially as well. So Tom goes on the mediums. Sam, Daegu, Octet, pretty much everyone that has to pit is pitting. And Octet is going for the hards. And so is Sam. Interestingly enough, Alex Daegu's going on the soft, which is very intriguing to say the least. I am a bit shocked about why the drivers have opted that, but we'll see. So, and two of the has cars fighting. I don't think you're meant to do that in the safety car period, but I'm going to get a drink. And I'll be back in just a few moments. And welcome to the safety car, guys, as you're going to go on board with this queue. Okay then, welcome back everybody. And there was a collision. Bobbers had a collision with Octez in the safety car. I didn't quite see what happened, so I'm not sure if that's going to get removed. But obviously, if the drivers have their race directors on them, they'll be able to do that. And then the stewards can actually see which drivers are fault and which is not. And GC is off into the pits. And to be honest, I do not blame him as well that GC is going into the pit lane. So on to, I would say, the hards. And he got damaged, so... Or is it another set of mediums? Another set of mediums can get to the end, you know, so... Quite an interesting call for him, but we know you could do it. He knows he could do it, I mean, that's what I meant to say. So, your race leader out of all of this is Tom. Because of that safety car, and because he was the one at the front, and everyone else was like around about 20 seconds behind, Tom was the only driver out of this leading bunch to not lose that much time in under safety car. So I'm going to look at my data a second. 18.5 seconds is how much time you lose in the pit stops in full racing conditions. In safety car conditions, I would cut it back to around about 12, I would say, maybe potentially. And luckily, LGS has rejoined the session, so we should be back for some more racing very, very soon here on Xbox One F1. Don't you dare switch off, because it's going to get very, very exciting. And just as it gets more exciting, the safety car is in this lap. And we're going to be halfway into this race as well. So definitely a good milestone for all these drivers, knowing that they do not have long to go. Everybody that's pitted will make it to the end, potentially, apart from Alex Dagu. And it didn't take long for all the drivers to catch up quickly. And as you can see from the sound, a lot of the drivers are very keen and very eager to get going. I'm like, oh, come on, guys, keep your hair on. And obviously when Tom starts accelerating, that's when everybody else could start accelerating. And Tom got, I think, a very good start. And are we going to go green flag racing? Yes, we are. Tom's already 8 attempts clear of Jam Pancakes. Incredible stuff. We already got some yellow flags. Squishy Panda, unfortunately, she's had it off. Heading towards the final corner, her right wing is completely gone. She will have to dive it into the pits to get that change. I wonder what was the cause of that, but ignore that matter at the moment. We still got battles to have a look at. Sora has got a time penalty. Bobbert is back up into P8 again, and he's probably a little bit miffed that the safety car came at that time. Another opportunity for him to get the win, pretty much out of his grasp at the moment. But never say never if you're the likes of Bobbert. All Bobbert's really's got to focus about is his main rivals in the championship. One of his main rivals in the championship is leading the race. And we've got Sam and LGS then going side by side. No DRS, don't forget. But look at Alex Dagu on the softs. Alex Dagu on the softs goes to the inside, and he takes it with ease. Alex Dagu, the house driver on the softs, is having the fit, but he's going to struggle towards the end because he has to pit. Everyone else does not. So I wonder if Alex Dagu is going to try and get these tyres to the end, because you never know. Softs only last 12 laps. So he's going to come a little bit fine. So maybe Alex Dagu can just about do it, because it's going to be a little bit hard to push on to the end. But anyway, Octez and LGS then, they're going side by side. You can see LGS is struggling on those mediums. I think he was the only driver not to pit, you know, and I think That's just showing why Octes and Amaze are just so much faster. Octes' hard is just being nailed on this track at the moment. Amaze could be the one to get both of them, I would say. But obviously, if you are Amaze, you don't want to be too greedy, but knowing him, he could probably be a bit greedy, as he was just then as he hit the back of LGS ever so slightly. No damage, though, for the AlphaTauri driver, which is always nice to see, to be honest. And we are going to see then how this all unfolds for Amaze. We've got pretty much a 4-car battle. Alex Dagu versus Jonah. Alex Dagu makes up another position. Bobbert makes another position. This is game on for these guys. Again, they want to score as many positions. Well, they want to gain as many positions and as many points as they possibly can. And for some of them, it's going to take a while. But for some of them, they're going to be loving the challenge and just want to fight. Sora goes for a move up into the final few corners, up into 10th place. Up in the point that you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, let me do my maths again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drivers with penalties. GC's now out of the race. Where did he retire? Let me have a look. It's hard to tell because obviously Squishy Panda is taking a little bit of a long time to catch up. So it's hard to know actually, but I wonder if it was obviously in the pit lane, but I don't know what the cause of that, but I will have a look. I'll have a look maybe at some of the replays from some of the drivers just so I'm aware of it, but maybe or probably GC has had enough and he doesn't want to do much racing anymore today. And we'll be on to Mexico next week. And then after Mexico, we've got Brazil and then Abu Dhabi. So after today, we've got 3 more rounds to go. And that makes the championship ever so crucial. And the gap is only 1 point. And after today, obviously 25 points per race. Times it by 3. 75 points maximum. So Jonah needs to win in order to secure his fight. Everybody else outside of the top 5, unfortunately, is eliminated from championship contention. But for the likes of Jonah, has a slight mathematical chance, but obviously he needs to win. Tom, also with an outside chance, going to be hard of him. Humperdinck still with a chance. Same with Bobbert, and obviously Lefted, our championship leader as well. I really do hope it goes down to Abu Dhabi because I like championships that definitely go to the final, go down to the wire. And we are going to be approaching the final third of this race very, very soon as Octes is taking no room for error as he wants to get past his rivals as soon as possible. Octes, on whose hard he is flying. And if you're on the mediums and you see a person on the hards overtaking you, then you've got to think, what is wrong with you? Is he a setup? Is he an ERS? Or is it... It's just you're not managing the tyres correctly. But Sora definitely does not want to be in a position to have Octes ahead of him, who's on the harder tyre. And Sora got it nailed absolutely perfectly. Sora looked like Octes had the most to gain. The crossover point would have been approaching soon. He has more ERS. But no, Sora, he just waited for the perfect moment. And the key to everything in terms of battling is patience. Absolute patience. If you don't have patience in this league, then you are going to be in huge trouble. And the ones that do have patience will be rewarded. So, we'll be approaching 10 laps to go very soon too. The battle for the win is pretty much going to be between Tom, Jam Pancakes, Lefted, Daegu and Jonah. And I think Daegu's maybe going to jump off a cliff in the final few laps, and maybe Bobbers and Jonah could take advantage. But we'll see. It will depend on the gap. That's going to be very, very important. And has your favourite been doing well in this race so far? Let us know. And who's been the driver that has surprised you? Which driver has done well? And we're going to see then Daegu on those softs. It should be easy picking for him, but again he's finding it hard, and the dirty air and the softer tyres, he's just going to get the tyres hotter and hotter and hotter. Meanwhile, whilst Lefted and Jam Pancakes were battling, and Daegu, Bobber's got past Jonah, and that's another step into the fight of scoring as many positions as he can for Bobbers. If it wasn't for that safety car, I'm almost certain Bobbers was going to win. And I have to say, I am not going to be predicting for the win, ever again. Because something like that happened, and it just gets very, very annoying. So that's why I'm just going to leave that. And I think Daegu's going to be stuck in that sandwich for a long time. If I get my predictions right on this, I would say, I would say they would be on round about, if I look at the data, around about 30% wear now. Because you're pushing so much, probably even more than that. So I think Alex Daegu's got to be doing a bit of tyre saving, and he can. Because Bobbers is 2.4 seconds, he can save a bit of tyre, save a bit of fuel, and then make sure he gets to the end of this race unscathed. Because if there was no safety car, he'll be in huge trouble and obviously have to pit. But I think the safety car might have saved him. Do you think Alex Daegu could get those tyres to the end? Let us know in chat. Because it'll be interesting to know who has made of the right stuff today and who has not. And there's only a few more races, a few more rounds for people to really get to grips with it for some people. And for some people, they are on for an absolute dream as Lefted goes round the inside of Jam Pancakes, and Lefted is on for course for a race victory here at the Circuit of the Americas. Lefted's next job now is to try and see if Lefted could get in the DRS of Tom. 7 tenths is the gap now, so at the moment he is definitely within that range, and Lefted probably is very, very happy right now about what's happening. So let's see how Lefted makes his way past turn 1. Lay on the brakes goes Lefted. You can see he had to stop the car very, very quickly. I have to say, Lefted, I don't think, even though I thought he'll be waiting, I don't think he's going to be waiting. As soon as he's closing up to get a move, he's going to go for the move. So, Lefted has the DRS though. Tom has more ERS. Look at the difference of VRS. That's probably why Tom is going to stay ahead of Lefted for now. But Lefted covers to the left hand, well, the right hand side. It's his right hand side anyway. But I think the lack of VRS on his battery definitely hindered him there. And oh, look at this. Lefted with a late lunge into turn 15 and 16. We thought this would never end. But Lefted caught Tom napping there. And Lefted is now your race leader. He was in third position a few laps ago. And now he is on course to be taking, well, I need to actually check what will be his fourth victory of AOR. Bobbers has gained 5. And he could be on course to extend his championship lead. Alex Daegu realised that those soft tyres will not make it to the end. His tyres were overheating, so he's going to go on to another set of soft compounded tyres. And I'm sure, almost certain, for Alex Daegu, that he is going to be going for fastest lap. So let's watch out for Daegu then, as he tries to make, he still can get past, I would say, Jamie and Alfio, but he's going to find it hard to get through other drivers. And I have to say, the top two, I always say the top two was pretty much set at the start of the Grand Prix, but you never know how this train is going to unfold. And Bobbers may come back into this, even though Bobbers has a penalty. But never say never. Remember, we saw what happened in Monza. A few people made so many mistakes. And you know what that caused them? That costed a few drivers the win and some valuable points for the championship, which could have really hindered them. So potentially, I would say, Bobbers, that's why Bobbers is still hung in there. He wants to match the pace to his drivers. And Sam as well, doing brilliant on those hards. The one that's gone for a different strategy compared to everybody else. Octes being another driver that has gone for a different strategy. And we're going to see then who's going to be the creme de la creme as we head towards the end of the season. Everyone would, I think, would want to win. But we'll see. We will see. Jamie has got a 3-second time penalty. Thank you to all those of you that have been watching. And it doesn't matter when you've been watching from, as long as you've been watching it and enjoying it. Again, let us know your thoughts in the chat. There's also the PC race going on at the moment, and there's been quite of a race. It was basically, it's been raining very hard there. So, to be honest, these drivers are very lucky to not get some rain at the Circuit of the Americas. As we head on to lap 24 now, 5 laps to go of this United States Grand Prix. Here comes Sora on Octes, side by side. Octes with the switchback. Going into the final corner, start, finish straight they go. Who has the DRS out of the two of them? It is Octes. So, he's going to be the most to gain in this situation. Sora with a late lunge, that's what we saw with Lefted in turns 15 and 16 early on as well. And it paid off for him. Who knows? Probably, potentially, people could be on their final warnings. And I wonder if we're going to get a photo finish. I swear to God, if we do, then it will just go to show why USA is definitely one of the best tracks to definitely commentate, in my opinion, because it's just always full of action. Even though there was some quiet moments towards the end, the battles that did happen, it was very risky indeed. And what lap we're on? 25 now of 28. So 3 more laps to go now. Actually, no, 4 more laps to go now. Excuse my maths. Like I said earlier, I am not the best when it comes to the whole math situation. So that is why. And I don't think, as much as how hard Tom is trying at the moment, I doubt he's going to get the move. I think all it would take was for Lefted to make a mistake. And that would help. And that would help Lefted out so much. And I definitely mean it. And that would help Tom out so much if Lefted made a mistake. Sorry, I'm getting my words twisted. I do apologise, guys. Heading towards turn 15 and 16. And we've got more battles, I think, towards turn 12. And here comes the Haskar of Daegu fighting back in the field now. P8, which is a considerably good comeback for the Haas driver. And for those of you that were watching the virtual Grand Prix, you probably like the outcome that happened as well in the race. I most certainly did. It was quite a nice surreal moment to see someone that's worked so hard get a win, and I saw his reaction as well, and it was amazing. So make sure you do watch that back, but I'm not gonna spoil the results just in case there's people that missed the virtual Grand Prix. It's on every weekend. I think it's on next weekend, the following weekend, and then the following weekend after that. I think so. That's potentially what has happened. So, lap 26 then. Who is the closest of getting the move? Only 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers having no penalties. And let me check penalties actually. Jam Pancake's on 5 seconds. Bobbitt's is on 8 seconds. Amaze is on 6 seconds. Dagu's on 3. Octez is on 3. Sora's on 6. Alfio's on 9. Jamie's on 3. LGS is on 3. And Squishy Panda is on 12. So Squishy Panda not having the best of races. It looked like to be a promising start, but later on in the race she made quite a few mistakes, which, you know, in a race like this, you can't afford to make mistakes because you're going to drop back for so many positions. So they're going to be in trouble otherwise. So we're going to see then. I think Tom did briefly get out the DRS of Lefted, unfortunately. But I've seen most races where some people just wait for the final lap, but for some drivers, it's too late. I mean, it's too late for some of the drivers. So they really ideally need to potentially go for the move now. But we shall see. We shall see. And do you think the battle for the win will change? Do you think Tom will actually pull this one off, or will Lefty pull this one off? Meanwhile, Alex Daegu looks so committed by Amazed at the moment. to get this move sticking. Amaze now wants to go to the left. He's going to try and go to the left. But unfortunately, Alex Daegu holds on to the move there. He closes the door and says, thank you very much. You're not having that position. So that is why Amaze is doing all he can to try and score as many points as possible. Even though Amaze currently, as you can see at the moment on your screen, is on 6 seconds worth of penalties. On the final lap then of this race, conditions are getting a little bit cooler in the United States of America. And Lefted is going to be loving this. He's going to be extending more of his championship lead, which is going to be helping his championship chances. And to be honest, he possibly wasn't expecting this. He probably was expecting a podium, but he would take it nonetheless. Tom as well, by scoring well today and beating Bobberts. He's also still in the championship hunt for another race. So that is impressive for him, I've got to say. So, Lefted, a few more corners to go before he is the United States Grand Prix winner. But it is not over until the checkered flag falls. Yellow flag is set to 3, but we're going to ignore that. Lefted comes across the line to take the win in Texas. No, it's not. What's happened to Lefted? Did Lefted get a penalty? Hold on a second. I thought Lefted would win. That is very interesting. So did the game give a penalty without him knowing? That is very interesting. I think that's happened in a league race once for some drivers and it just got very, very confusing. So, and even Lefted is confused in the chat. So, I'm going to have a look at the race director. I'm almost certain about that as we're just waiting for LGS. So, I think it must have been a glitch, maybe because of Lefted disconnecting. But we'll see, because don't forget, Lefted did disconnect earlier. And he still came back to win, which I have to say is amazing. So, I will have a look at the penalties in a second. Actually, let me have a look at it now. Lefted, no penalties. Lefted, no penalties, and he drops into 4th. I'm almost certain Lefted's going to report that to the stewards. He was definitely winning that race. And then I was like, wow, he dropped it. So, intrigued about that. But anyway, for now, it's Tom from Jam Pancakes, from Sam, from Lefted, from Jonah, from Bobberts, from Alex Daegu, from Octes, from Amaze, and from Jamie. And then we got Sora, Alfio, LGS, Squishy Panda, and then your timers are GC, Humberlink, and Cesala. That's been the United States Grand Prix. It's been a lot of fun. And we're going to move on next week to another part of the Americas. And that is Mexico City for the Mexican Grand Prix. A track where it's also penalty central, but it's great for league racing and strategy. So make sure you do not miss that. Same time, same place next week, 8 PM UK time on the AOR channel. And if you are liking what you're seeing today, make sure you click the subscribe button, like this video as well, and turn notifications on so you know when to basically watch out on our streams, basically. So anyway, I've been JessGames95, and we're going to wrap this up the stream there. And well done to all of our podium finishes as well. I think the penalties and positions will be sorted out due to the Z-Sync. It's just unfortunate about what's happened. I think that is probably a thing that's came out in the patch, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. But anyway, we will see you same time next week for the Mexican Grand Prix. Have a good evening, everybody. and goodbye.